No, all rights belong to Sony Video, Sony TV, T-Series India, Warner Brothers. Anyone else, Saga, I forgot?
Then that's about it.
So, boys, live. That was one heck of a session. Talk to me.
So, oh God, I thought you guys were going to go first. I've been talking so much. I'm exhausted. Wow. So just to recap, we talked about reflections and realizations. I don't know about you guys, but I think I noted about 20 reflections and realizations at least. And the one, I mean, there were so many, but the one from Sam about the letter, it just made me realize that in his current situation, I'm not going to mention the C word, but in isolation, there's been so many fallen souls. And one of the biggest takeaways that I've taken away is that if somebody does, pass on in this life, that I'm definitely going to write the letter to them. And that's just so deep. And the letter is not about mourning them. The letter is about celebrating their life. So that's probably the most powerful reflection and realization that I've taken away today, that I can process. I've taken many notes. I'm sure you guys have, but yeah.
I think it's more, yeah, like you've just it's the things that go unsaid and unacknowledged, whether that's with ourselves or with people, and then just having a moment just to kind of communicate that is so powerful, right? Whether it's in that particular example, whether it's someone that's passed on, but actually with people that we're living, what are the things that we're not actually communicating to the point when if we want to say it when it's too late?
100%. But it's having that letter actually as a catalyst that sparks to have the conversation right now. Like I'm sure you guys have got loved ones that you're thinking it, but they don't necessarily know what you're thinking. And if you don't share like a moment of gratitude or a thank you or an embrace, I mean, a virtual hug, I guess, in this case, over Zoom, or video call. But I think it's so powerful. And if we don't sort of sit and reflect on that, like right now in isolation and pick up the call, like I think you guys are doing it, right? So every day I pick up the phone and I scan my address book and I think, right, who haven't I spoken to for a while? Doesn't make a difference. It could be work, client, business, friends, family, Facebook friend that never speaks to me. I don't care. I'll just reach out and say hello. And some of the messages I've had are being so deep and led to actual video of them jumping on. So I've never spoken to anyone on my Facebook, for example, right? I've got probably 1,000 people on my Facebook, right, who are watching right now, never spoken to them. And a few of them have reached out and saying, right, I don't know why, but I need to jump on a call and say hello. I'm like, let's do it. So I think to Riraj's point, if you guys are listening right now, yeah, say what's in your heart and appreciate people and appreciate people around you, because life is funny that way, and you never know when you don't have that moment. Not to get too sort of down that road, but just celebrate life as well, and also celebrate your achievements. Like how often do we sit back, and I think Viraj made an interesting point about pausing. And I actually stopped walking when I was walking around, when I was talking to you, Havan, when I was doing my sort of like trying to attempt to do 10K, but I failed. I got 7.5K, so I'm going to go back and get some more. But I actually paused at one point and I reflected, like, why am I doing this? Okay, it's for exercise, but what does the exercise mean? Okay, it's to improve my health. But how? Okay, because I'm type 2 diabetic and I want to reverse that or suppress it. And it's just pausing and reflecting on what you're doing and why you're doing it. And I think that was quite profound to hear, that everyone sort of paused and reflected in their journey. And I think journey is the right word. We're all in this journey together. But I think, agree, Viraj, I think you said it, that was literally for me the best one ever, because it was free flowing energy. We didn't have a presentation. I mean, our presentations are, to be fair, free flowing anyway, but this was just on another level deep.
Yeah, I noticed everyone appreciated the space to actually release, and then there was a couple of people who actually said that they're actually grateful for the meetings every 2 weeks for them to actually say this stuff, because right now you can't really say it to many people because everyone's dealing with something quite big right now in the situation. So yeah, really positive on that sense, that everyone's like, it felt like everyone was appreciating the space we've created and the knowledge we're sharing between us, not just from our point of view, from the other people sharing knowledge for the other guys as well.
I don't know if you actually. I was really quiet in the group, but when I was watching people that actually attended, I don't know if you realized, but the more they were releasing, the more easier they found it to talk about. You know, that they might have only thought about that. Okay, we're going to talk about two things. All of a sudden, it ended up being 10 things,
Yeah.
and not mentioning any names, but you saw some of them actually connected to another level while they were releasing that. They're actually
Yeah.
you can see the emotion.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize that, but the emotional state got the better of them, and they were still talking about it because, and then you could see that they were like, ah, okay, cool. You know, I'm emotional, but in front of people they don't know, and they're like, okay, cool. You know, so, and it's so weird because just before we did the live, sorry, before we got on the call, I was on a conversation with someone else, and as Havan, you were saying, yeah, you know that what you said earlier when we had our little when we had the banter as well is you used to enjoy going out to restaurants and that's what we focused on, but then now you actually don't care because you're actually enjoying the cooking side of it, right?
Little things, right? Those little switches that this extreme scenario has allowed us to get closer to of actually what is the meaningful stuff. And it actually, all we really want is safety,
Yeah,
and we get that from our sustenance and our security and our shelter.
yeah.
Beyond that, anything else is just a bonus.
And I think that's what the conversation I had before the Zoom call was the same thing. You know, one of the lives that I got coming on tomorrow, it is about this, and we were talking about that this person misses the family, and everyone keeps saying to me that, you know what, we don't care about restaurants, we don't care about bars, we just want to have the lockdown eased so we can go and see family. And it's really weird because if this lockdown wasn't in place and we were able to go and see family, actually would we miss them? Because now it's really weird that we've all connected in a different level through WhatsApp messaging or house party or Zoom calls, that we would have never done that if we were able to go there, right? We wouldn't have the conversations we're having on Zoom if we were actually going to see them physically. It would just be, yeah, hi, how are you? It's nice to see
Stuff.
you.
Very, very superficial, right? Like on the surface level.
Yeah.
But even us guys, I mean, Haven, we don't know each other for that long, but I feel we know each other quite well. If that makes sense. And with Viraj and Sagar, we know each other for was it 2 years or something around that. But we actually know each other quite well. But if it wasn't for the lockdown, we wouldn't have that depth of conversation and some of the stuff that we're talking about, you know, doing together collectively as a group. So obviously it's unfortunate because people have passed away, and that's completely tragic. And there's a couple of people that I know personally who passed away because of the current situation. But it's like the sun is shining, you know, outside. When I was, I'm in my room inside because I've just had an overdose of vitamin D. But when I was outside and what Havan was talking about nature, and it's like, yeah, just sitting there in the garden and just watching things around you and just like kind of like being in that Zen moment, right? And just appreciating life. And it reminded me that when me and my wife bought this house, the best thing about the house was the garden, but yet we don't actually spend as much time in the garden when life was normal, dare I say it. Now life is normal, you know, dare I say it. Actually, we love our garden. We spend more time in the garden than in the house together. So it's
And
just,
the question is, that's the main what I said to this person. The question is, are we going to sustain this? Because this would be awesome if we could go back to real reality,
Mm.
go back out, but also manage to find time and sustain what we've done over the past 6 weeks. Because how awesome could our community and the relationships can be, right?
No, that's totally a great point. We've got a comment here on Facebook Live now with Sanjay Panchal. So what happens here, and this is perfect. So what we're sharing about and what we've created this group for is to essentially start a conversation for, you know, on things like forgiveness and growth mindset, and how as men we've sort of gone into this particular narrative in the world, and actually what's really really important to us. So what we're sharing now is the discussion that we've had today, which is just pausing to reflect. And the next segment that we're going to talk about is, you know, just appreciation of what's already there. And we touched on the concepts of forgiveness and acknowledgement, and the Ho'oponopono Polynesian concept of actually just acknowledging, you know, if we feel wronged or been done wrong by someone, it's just to acknowledge what is there and just to forgive up the just the angst, because we really carry it amongst ourselves. I mean, it's like a bag of rocks that we walk around with. And actually, how liberating is it to accept an apology that you know you'll never receive from someone, but be able to give up that baggage so that you can continue your journey and your growth.
Yep, definitely.
And
I think
significant are 2 words, to hear 2 words from someone rather than just, you know, just why wait?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think just to summarize that point, it was the distinction between forgiveness and understanding. So, for example, when my kids might do something, let's say, I don't necessarily need to forgive them, because if I forgive them, I'm attaching that they've done something wrong. It's just understanding that they're actually on lockdown. They miss the school, they miss their friends, and they're just going to kick the football around. You know, they may knock a few plants down that my wife's planted, but it's just understanding that, and again, that's a powerful conceptual distinction, right? The difference between forgiveness and understanding. But going back to what you said, Saga, 100%, I'm going to be accountable on this Facebook Live and say I am going to carry on and continue. But I think it's a single consciousness that has to happen, and then it's a collective community consciousness that will make it happen and make it sustainable. Yes, there's going to be some people that go back to the normal norm, but that's up to each of us individually to carry that forward. That's my kind of humble opinion. That's what I would share with you.
And actually, I think that's a great point, because Sanjay's comment here is, don't actions speak louder than words? Depends, because why should you wait on someone else's actions for you to move forward? And that kind of ties into the next point of discussion that we talked about, was the locus of evaluation, and how you have control over your internal state and not over your external state, which is influenced by loads of people. So how much of your personal self-control are you giving away to external factors that you really have no control over, unless you just take ownership of what it is that you're doing or you're not doing?
100%. We won't mention obviously names because it was a private Zoom session. So we always have, for those listening, we always have trust and integrity, the utmost. So we never discuss the individuals who shared the story, but we take the concepts and the ideas. And one of them, I think, sort of was around. I think there was quite a few, but I lost them.
The locus evaluation.
Yeah,
understanding that you make things happen, which 100%. Is your locus of control.
Yeah, and the biggest takeaway from that is, how often do we let negative self-talk consume and contain and almost like turn into that weed that you want to pluck out of your mind, but you know, for whatever reason, you don't pluck out of your mind, or you do pluck out your mind. And sometimes some of us then dial ourselves down and adjust to others' personalities. And I've been a victim of that myself. And I think the message there, just to summarize it, is that you're always going to have people who don't understand you, the frequency that you operate at. You're not there to judge them or have any expectations, and you're not there to adapt and shift your personality to suit them, if that makes sense, because then you're suppressing your creative genius that's within you. And that's what I just wanted to say. So yeah,
it's funny you said that, because I was just reading something over the last couple of days, and one of the books that I opened and started reading again is Life's Amazing Secrets, right, by Guru Gopal Das. And this diagram, it just made me, I'm not going to lie to you, yesterday I had a bit of a down day, and I looked at this diagram, and the diagram literally it's a circle for why worry, right? And it's literally, do you have a problem in life? It goes to no, then why worry? Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do something about it? No. Then why worry? Can you do something about it? Yes. Then why worry?
yeah, definitely.
It's actually made me laugh, and it keeps making me laugh because it's true. We sometimes do overthink things, you know, and like Havan, like you said in the group, that you know, you just go with it. Just don't worry about the other 12, 13, 14 things, because that will come, but whatever's in your conscious mind at that point, just do it, right?
I think I've got the diagram here on screen. Actually, I'm just going to share it for people that.
Oh, amazing.
Here
Amazing.
we are.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
You have a problem in life? No. Then why worry? Right? Do you have a problem? Yes. Could you do something about it? Yes. Why worry? Just it's really simple.
I
But
don't.
how
Yes.
easy it is to just lose control of this, right? And just going back to another one of the points that Sanjay's made here, in my opinion, it's best not to expect anything from anyone.
Yeah.
Which is totally true. If you give up your expectations, it's not to say that you just completely go like rogue, but why worry about something that you really have no control over, including our expectation, because we may expect something from someone that may not be able to deliver it, and if we get so attached to that, that's in our external locus. We can't affect that.
That's a really good, there's a subtle
Sagar had a moment there, his hands went up like he's about to do
go on, Sagar. You're not just flexing your muscles, you're flexing your mind muscles. No.
I'll tell you one thing, yeah, and Viraj, you're so right in what you've just said, and I've not conditioned myself now in terms of, because of everything that's happened, but I am learning to be detached. But the problem here, and this might be another whole Zoom call on its own, is you know why you're being detached, right? You know why you're not worrying and so on. How do the other people see that, right? Is arrogance, no love, no sympathy, he don't care, forget it. Now, then what happens is you go into this vicious loop again. Am I doing what I'm doing? Is this right? Because I'm actually right. So it's this whole thing, like, and I think people need to realize that self detaching myself, it doesn't mean that I don't love you, right? It just means that I'm just detaching myself because I'm not just protecting myself, but I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that doesn't mean I'm arrogant. That doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means I can give so much more because I'm just talking about it from experience, right? I think this is another Zoom call altogether, but sorry, bro.
No.
You know what? It reminded me of that quote from the Bhagavad Gita, that detachment is not that you own nothing. It's just that detachment is that nothing owns you.
Uh-huh.
So you kind of have your grounding in your core value system and whatnot. And it's not that you're attached or you're averse, because averse is the opposite of attachment. You're still attached to something in order to be averse. It's just that you are doing what you know to do for your own growth, which isn't in a selfish way, but it's your path, it's your journey. So you've got to take care of yourself. You have to fill your cup first so that you can give more to other people. Otherwise, as some of the examples that we showed, we get so pulled away to try to do different things and fingers in many pies and all that stuff, where we lose ourselves in the process. And then what value are you to anyone at that point, when you can't even get back to your kind of state of power and responsibility?
You just reminded me, Viraj, that both of you actually, what Sagar is saying and what you've mentioned, and the quote from the Gita is like, you guys must have come across this as well. Another quote is that we're not the mind, we are the observer. And what Sagar is actually, I've literally got that picture in my mind. So like, you're the observer, and what you're doing there, Sagar, is that you're not saying I don't care. You're just saying I'm operating at a higher frequency, and it doesn't mean that you're better or that they're wrong. It just means your mind right now is at such a high frequency that you actually have to detach. You have no choice because that's just where you are. But because their mind, and unfortunately, is not at that frequency yet, they receive it as resentment. And going back to what we originally said, there's a subtlety of balance between, I guess, having a aspiration and not having an expectation, and you've got to sit somewhere kind of in the middle. So let go of expectations and judgments, but don't let go of your aspirations, because that's your dreams, that's your goals, that's what's going to get you anywhere you want to get to in life. So I think that's just what came to my mind. But I think I sense another call coming, Sagar, but that's a separate conversation.
Actually, Sanjay's comment here, some people just will ask innumerable people until they hear what they want. I think we have to be strong-willed, and despite what others say, do we need to remain focused and continue with our objectives? And I think it's the integration of both, in that you're clear on the path and progression that you're on, and you're just mindful of where other people are. It doesn't mean to say that you're any higher or lower. But if there's, say, what's the word, like a disparity in the,
It's like a radio station, right?
yeah, exactly, it's just the frequency. You're on FM and
just a
someone's on
frequency.
AM. It doesn't
Yep.
mean that the channel's wrong. You're just operating in a different space. And until that alignment comes, you're just not singing from the same hymn sheet. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just different people, different phases. And I think that ties into the final point that we touched on, was just taking action in the moments of pain or when we're Zen. And I think ultimately it just comes down to, at what point do we take the action? Does everything have to be right before we do anything? Or actually, does it have to be the total opposite? And I think it can be both, right? You can have those periods of moments of clarity through a meditation, or you can hit rock bottom. But whatever's going to further the conversation is taking an action from it.
Yeah.
And
I think,
starting small, so it doesn't lead to overwhelm.
yeah, I think a few of us resonated with that point in the actual group call, which was, you could have, and the topic was reflections and realizations. And what we discussed is that you can have a reflection in a Zen moment, but when you're in the pain moment, that's when the transformation actually occurs. So it's not that you can't have a reflection, but the change that's required happens, unfortunately, in the depth of when you're broken, and when you're in that pain, because that's the real growth. And we've all experienced that, right? So I think that's what you're touching on. But listen, we can go on for ages, but I think this is probably our longest debrief ever. I'm just conscious of time. Sorry, guys.
No, I think, no, you've hit the nail on the head, Manoj. And I think certainly from a format perspective, I think we found a little bit of a sweet spot in a presentation / slides on a few particular things just to get the conversation going, and then the free flow, and then every so often just having a free flow pause reflection session like we've done today, because we've covered quite a few things, from like thought loops to conflict circles, through some mindfulness practices. And today was just, let's just take stock of where we're all at individually and collectively and amongst that. So I think going forward, like this, I mean, there's some exciting stuff that we really can't share on live right now.
No, not yet. You've got to wait, guys. You've got to wait.
And Sanjay, thank you for joining us as well. But I think, yeah, like, it's so cool. Like, we're exploring things that we probably wouldn't ordinarily explore on a Saturday morning. But yeah, it's all service based. Like, everyone's contributing without any kind of expectation or no promo. And it's, again, a tagline to connect, grow, and inspire. And I feel that we've hit another level this week, I feel.
Yeah,
It's a really good idea. The way we did.
Yeah, and just to summarize what Viraj was saying, just for our new listeners and those who don't know what we do, it's in Gujarati we call it seva, in English you call it community service, and we're just 4 people. There's I mean 6 originally, and there's a few people behind the scenes. So there's 6 of us originally came up with this idea, come with a collective consciousness just to serve our community, for men, and to break that taboo, especially within Asians. And now we've just branched it out to all men, about discussing all things mental health. And we guys don't look at mental health, we see it as mental wealth. It's the same as your physical muscle, where you've got to exercise, same as your mind, you've got to exercise. And everybody goes through a form of mental wealth. If they say no, they're lying to themselves and lying to others. And that could be anything from anxiety to, the most extreme situations. So I think the reason that we're doing this is just to serve men. So if you think that something resonates with anything that you've heard or shared, or people on the group, I can't see the chat, so apologies, Sanjay, I know you're there, but
Sanjay's question is, what inspired the club?
Sorry, yeah, well, there you go. Synchronicities of the universe. I can't see what you're writing, but that's what's coming right now. And that's exactly what inspired the club. And what inspired the club is because each of us have been through an extreme form of mental wealth journey, and we just wanted to come together and serve the community. And it's nothing to do with business. No sales are allowed whatsoever. Anybody's welcome. Anybody's welcome to talk. It's a free-flowing community. We don't own this space. You guys own the space. We just created it for you. And I think on that note, we should wrap up, because we'll just talk for the whole day.
And I think the emphasis is on mindfulness. It's not necessarily, mental health is what it is, and it's thrown around a lot. But we're not looking at the perspective of trying to fix something, but actually, how do we take wherever we're at right now and just contribute to anyone? And whether it's talking about some, we talk about Athlean X and some physical exercises that people can do versus some breathing and all that. But it's just the idea is that we all effectively mastermind and get to contribute to a collective group of people just for the sake of service and nothing more, which I think is pretty cool.
Yep, 100%. So help us spread the message, guys. For the women out there, thank you so much. I think we've got about 30% of women who are following our group. So if you've got any men in your life who you want to help in any way, shape or form, please get them to join our Facebook page. And for the men who are already on the Facebook page, I'm sure you know some, a male in your life that's going through a journey of some sort that may benefit from this completely free group that we're never going to charge for, and it's just completely pure service. So
yeah,
I mean,
I'm going to say on that note, Sanjay's question, how frequently do we do this? We do this every other week. It's a free sign up. We've got the Eventbrite link posted in the comment for the live. Yeah, we meet every other week. We have a Zoom session. We have people joining from all over the world, as far as Malaysia, the Middle East, and in Europe right now. I've got a couple of people here that are regulars that missed out, unfortunately, but we'll hopefully see you guys next week, Alex and Johannes. Super
oh, hey, Alex, hey, Johannes. Yeah, we missed you guys. We missed your energy.
No, totally. But yeah, no, we do this every other week from 11 a.m. UK to 12:30. Typically have a theme that we start the conversation and go to free flow. And like I said, it's just a forum for us all to just kind of say what's there for us and what are we growing through. And in some cases, it's about giving. In other cases, just purely about receiving. So there's no commitment really, just to be present otherwise, and just just for confidentiality, just not to share anything that goes outside the chat. So we'd love to see you in a couple of weeks time, that's for sure. Great comment here from Hina. I'm definitely sharing what you guys are doing. Hina, you're an absolute rock star. Yeah, so Sanjay, just let us know if you have any questions. Just pop us a message in our Facebook page. Yeah, let's close out, guys, and we'll upload our pre-take video as well, just for a bit of banter.
We can actually go on forever. We've actually got some work to do for prepping and planning for the next one in terms of the actual theme and topic. So have a very, very, very blessed bank holiday weekend, and stay inspired, stay loved, and share that love and keep smiling. And yeah, just look after each other and let's help each other grow. And thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thank you.